So hello everyone, and today I'm going to be in conversation with Laura Orian, and we're going to talk about her VE in STEM subjects. But before we start, Laura, please introduce yourself and tell us which institution you're at and what your role is.
Thank you very much. So my name is Laura Orian. I am Associate Professor of Physical Chemistry at the Department of Chemical Sciences, University of Padua. I teach physical chemistry to undergraduate course students of environmental science and technology. And I teach computational chemistry, which is my subject of research, but I am passionate about teaching. And so I also am involved in education projects, and I teach the course of teaching chemistry at the master course in chemistry.
So today, Laura, we're going to talk about a virtual exchange, because you use virtual exchange in your chemistry courses in STEM subjects, and many of my interviewees have quite a lot of difficulty, inserting or integrating virtual exchange in STEM. First of all, can you outline your virtual exchange in your chemistry courses? How does that work? How's it structured?
Okay, so I have to tell you that everything happened by serendipity, because during COVID I attended several courses to improve my teaching skills, and I heard about this virtual exchange, and I attended a course also about virtual exchange. Then I was contacted by the international office of my university, and they said, oh, there is a colleague in France who would like to establish a virtual exchange with you. Oh, great, this is a good occasion. But I discovered that my colleague was not a STEM scientist. I was expecting a chemist, I was expecting a physicist, but I found a teacher, a professor, a teacher of English language. And okay, speaking with my office, at the first moment I said, okay, probably we cannot start this virtual exchange. But then I thought a little more, and since I like challenges, I said, okay, this is a good occasion, because English is the fundamental language in all scientific disciplines, and it was the perfect occasion in my course of teaching chemistry to establish a virtual exchange with this French professor and her students. And so I chose the chemistry teaching course, where I have on average 15-20 students, and I teach them how to teach chemistry. I try to teach them how to teach chemistry. I give them some tips and strategies, and we started 5 years ago with this joint adventure with the University of Bordeaux.
And how has that worked for you? What have been some of the challenges that you've had to overcome when establishing this virtual exchange with English? Because you were quite adventurous, because as you say, most people seeking virtual exchange partners seek the same or similar topics. Now it's becoming more, people are becoming more adventurous and becoming interdisciplinary, but you jumped at it. So what happened?
So it happened that we started smoothly. The activity was not mandatory, but all students decided to participate. This was already a big achievement for me.
Yeah, a big win. Yes.
Then it was even more challenging, because the course is in Italian, and nobody was expecting in the syllabus, the course was in Italian, nobody was expecting English hours, English classes. This might have not a very nice impact on all the students, but this was not a problem, because they worked, the project consists in making groups formed by French and Italian students, small groups, 2 or 3 people, and they work on a chemical misconcept that is something that we think in the common life that has that aspect or goes that way because we have the chemical explanation, but our chemical explanation is totally wrong, and so we can demonstrate it, but in English, because they had to interact in English, they have to develop their project and the final video in English. And the professor, I am checking with another colleague, Professor Sapejon, we are checking the chemistry contents, and the French colleague is checking the language aspects. She is, of course, integrated with some grammar, with some special language terms. You know, chemistry has also some particular terms, nouns, verbs. So she's taking care of these aspects. And at the end, we have these videos, which are great.
I have a question. I understand why your chemistry students might want to practice your English because, as you say, English is the lingua franca in science. What was the benefit for the University of Bordeaux students who are English language students? Why did they agree to do something concerning chemistry?
Oh, this is something that we should ask to the students and the teacher in Bordeaux. But
How did the teacher manage to convince them, you're going to do some English and chemistry?
no, you know, they, of course, are STEM students that attend English classes. They are not humanistic students. But
Right.
I think that the main point is the intrinsic value of virtual exchange. So I don't know because I'm not a professor in Bordeaux, but I think that in all universities now we feel the need of internationalization. And
Sure.
internationalization cannot be the professor teaching in English because it is international, or the students write English reports. Internationalization means mixing for me, mixing with with international students.
Collaborating,
Yes,
presumably.
yeah, international professors and so on, in active way. And this is what they are doing. And so I really think that chemistry, English, okay, they are just the topic, the occasion, but I think that the important aspect is the international collaboration, the peer collaboration.
Yes, the collaboration and
Yeah,
the exchange, getting something from each other. So
yeah.
my understanding is you started thinking about this during COVID. So presumably your project, your collaboration has evolved over the years. What has been the impact on your teaching and on the students of integrating virtual exchange into chemistry? What have you seen happen over the last few years?
So I have seen increasing the number of students attending the course, and this is really strange because the ministry last year opened the new courses because there are special courses to attend to try to become professor in the secondary school in Italy, and the rules were established last year. Okay, so we were expecting that the course teaching chemistry was going to lose students because those who are interested in teaching, they attend this master course where I also teach there. So because this is my passion, as I told you. Instead, the number of students increased because the students, they talk to each other and they say, oh, that course, choose that course is nice. And this is a very positive message and a very good achievement. And the second point is that last year we were disappointed, the students were disappointed because the French professor was on sabbatical leave. and we could not set up our virtual exchange. But the French colleague, since she also likes to do this experience, she came here herself in person, and she has been teaching in the class. Of course, it was not a virtual exchange because there were not the students, an important part, the French students, but the message for me was this must be kept alive because students are asking for this international flavor, if I can say
Yes.
so.
So, well, the physical mobility is also an integral part mostly of virtual exchanges, isn't it? I mean, the idea isn't just to let a virtual exchange replace a physical mobility. So
Yeah.
in this way, you've managed to keep it alive. So I'm hearing there have been many satisfactions in terms of you've had an increase in students coming on board. You've had the professor coming physically. What else, what other satisfactions and impacts have you seen? Is there anything else you'd like to add that has given you great joy during this time?
I have seen students that are against English, not against, they think they are not very good with English. And so when they, oh no, 10 hours speaking English, my English is terrible. But I will never speak English. Okay, I attend the class, I will try to learn, do the assignments, but I will never speak. Instead, after they interact, they start being involved in the conversation, they attend the classes. These for me are really strong indicators that the project is working.
I hear from other professors there are many challenges of trying to integrate VE into STEM subjects. So you've clearly succeeded. So what advice would you give, and what are the main considerations to have in mind when you want to take the plunge and use VE in a STEM subject?
I recommend two aspects. First, we should be creative. So we should explore in our courses. We should take a little piece of our course and explore and try without worrying if it fails. It will never fail.
It
If
can
there
go
are
wrong,
students,
can't it?
professors working together, it will be a success at the end, no? So first is really, I encourage colleagues and students to be ready to explore and to be creative. And the second aspect that I recommend is that we always associate STEM subjects with hard sciences, hard topics, difficulties, lack of female participation. Instead, we should be more easy, which does not mean that we are losing rigor, okay? But we should sometimes really give basis to the students and then let them work, let them be actors, let them start doing science, acting like scientists. We should not always give them problems with solutions. We should give one problem with the solution to show them how it works. But then we should give them real problems and solve the problems with them. And even better if we enlarge the context. And so we involve international students who have a different background, who speak a different language, who have different working schedule, and so on. But one thing I recommend, if I can say, that my French colleague uses, is that at the beginning of a virtual exchange, rules must be fixed. Because really, differences between students may be critical sometimes, because we have also different ways of work. And so it must be that students agree on some rules and then they use these rules that are not the Italian rules, not the French rules, but they are the rules of the virtual exchange. This is very important. Otherwise,
Yes.
it can be, yeah, it can be difficult.
Yes,
But
of course.
if there are rules, enthusiasm, creativity, and we are a bit fearless, we try to be easy, we try really to be happy of working together, I think that it will work.
So, Laura, one last question before I let you go. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your experience and any successes and satisfactions you've had during this virtual exchange?
Yes. If I may say, this year I am particularly happy because the French colleague has been officially appointed professor in charge of one credit of this course. So
Wow.
until last year, we were the Italian teachers, me and a few colleagues, and we hosted her. And so the students, the Italian ones, looked at her like an host professor, but someone who is not really involved in all the process of teaching, learning, and
Remote.
then assessing. This year, my colleague is officially professor of teaching chemistry like me. And this is the warranty that this is really an international class, also officially.
Congratulations.
Thanks.